February the 25th, 32 years ago today, Iron Mike Tyson, the undisputed heavyweight champion, defends his crowns against Britain's Frank Bruno, top heavyweight contender. Going into this fight, Iron Mike Tyson unified all of the belts in the division, WBC, WBA, IBF, and had just come off a super fight against Michael Spinks. Michael Spinks was regarded by few as the lineal heavyweight champion because Michael Spinks had beat Larry Holmes in 1985 twice, and around 1985 Larry Holmes was the long-reigning heavyweight champion. After that, there was a heavyweight tournament which Frank Bruno entered, and he was stopped by Tim Witherspoon in the 11th round. However, Tyson went on to win that tournament. He beat Trevor Berbick for the WBC heavyweight title in November 86 and became the youngest ever heavyweight champion. May 87 beat Bone Crusher Smith, became unified heavyweight champion, still only 20. August 87 he beat Tony Tucker and became the undisputed heavyweight champion. Following that, Tyson then went on to beat Michael Spinks in a super fight, first round knockout. Frank Bruno bounced back with victories over Reggie Gross, James Quick Tillis, and Joe Bugner. So Bruno, top contender. But let's look at some of the drama going around the fight with Mike Tyson, because he was going through a lot. Only 22 at the time of this fight, Frank Bruno 27. So we just spoke about the fact that Mike Tyson beat Spinks in 1988. 2 months later, August 1988, Mike Tyson had a street fight with his former opponent, Mr. Bud Green, in New York, Queens, outside the Dapper Dan store in early hours of the morning. Tyson damaged Mitch Green's eye really badly and also broke his right hand, which meant that the Bruno-Tyson fight, which was meant to be earlier in London Wembley, got postponed because of his broken hand. That's August 88. September 88, Robin Givens goes on to a TV show with Mike Tyson with host Barbara Walters. The show's called 2020, and Robin Givens unexpectedly tells the world that Mike Tyson is a manic depressant. She wants to have his children, but he's got a mental illness. Mike says nothing, keeps quiet, but that, sets up a quick slippery road towards their divorce. Same month, September 88, Mike Tyson drives into a tree. December 1988, Mike Tyson fires Kevin Rooney. Kevin Rooney from the original Custamato, Bill Caton, Jim Jacobs team. Mike now fires him. In the Bruno Tyson TV interview, Tyson says, Rooney's only temporarily fired. I want him back, but we need to speak because he's talking too much. January 1989, Tyson goes to Vancouver to see Robin Givens, who's filming a movie. Once he gets there, he's filmed by media crew, paparazzi. According to Mike Tyson, Robin Givens set him up, saying that she's being harassed by a man. She feels intimidated. And when Tyson got there, she called, the media crew out and said, look, this guy's harassing me. My husband's harassing me. So Mike gets a bit angry and gets into a scuffle. February the 14th, 1989. So that's January 1989 when Tyson goes to Vancouver. Mike Tyson breaks camp from Frank Bruno to go and see Robin Givens. A month later, February the 14th, 11 days before the fight, which is February 25th, Tyson and Givens divorced. As for Frank Bruno going into the fight, Frank Bruno, as we said, he lost to Tim Witherspoon, but he's bounced back. In the UK, Frank Bruno's big business, top celebrity alongside John Barnes, Ian Rush, Steve Davis, Ian Botham. He's on all the TV adverts with HP Sauce. He does pantomime with Lenny Henry. He's all over the media. He's beloved. He's the darling of UK sports. So when he goes out to America for his training camp, which is at Fountain Hills, Arizona, a lot of British media go behind him. A lot of British fans go behind him. And when they get to the fight in Las Vegas, it's a UK invasion, just like as you've seen over the years, Ricky Hatton, Dennis Lewis, Joe Kazagi. In the UK, we really get behind our boxers. So you may not know Frank Bruno that much in America if you're not into boxing, but if you're in the UK and you were just into like general, pop culture, you'd know who Frank Bruno was. Even his daughter was doing adverts pretending to be him. That's how big he was, his baby daughter, Nicola, at the time. So going into the fight, in the first round, Tyson storms across to Frank Bruno. They're both being very aggressive. Bruno's got his left hand around Tyson's neck, rabbit punching Tyson around the side of his ear. Because he's in so close and Tyson's a very good short puncher, Tyson throws a short chopping hook to Bruno's chin. Bruno wobbles. Tyson then throws another hook to Bruno. It hits the back of his head. Bruno goes down. Bruno's on the floor. Tyson gives Bruno a shot while he's on the floor. The ref doesn't take a count or even acknowledge it. the ref doesn't take a point or acknowledge what Tyson's done. Bruno gets up, they get back up. Bruno's surviving throughout the round. Towards the end of the round, Bruno catches Tyson with a right hook to the ear. As he catches Tyson with a right hook to the ear, Tyson goes to throw a left hook to Bruno, but Bruno counters that punch with his own left hook to Tyson's chin. Mike wobbles, and Mike's in a bit of trouble. Mike gets through the round, but it's significant that obviously in the first round, Bruno's hit the floor, gone down, but Tyson's got wobbled towards the end. Round 2, 3, 4, and 5, Tyson gets back on top of the fight. A lot of looking back after that fight, a lot of critics said that when Mike fired Kevin Rooney, he lost his discipline, he lost his custom jabbing, bobbing and weaving, body shots, and he was more of a headhunter. You could see that a little bit in this fight. I think there was times when Mike Tyson was jabbing and throwing a nice crisp right hand simultaneously right behind the left jab, and there was times when he was going to the body, but he didn't go to the body enough, and there were times when he was moving his head, but he couldn't put them all together. He was doing them all at separate times. But Tyson was so young, strong, and just still better than Bruno that he stayed on top from round 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bruno didn't get back into the fight other than that one moment in the end of the first round. He did have moments in the fight, but not as significant as that. His left hook to the head and to the body occasionally stopped Tyson in his tracks. The only issue was that when Bruno was throwing those hooks for the majority of the time, especially the hooks to the head, Tyson was so close to him, he couldn't get any leverage. He really would have wanted Mike Tyson walking into the shot, so Mike would walk onto it like in the first round. Towards round 4, Mike goes to the body. He's really slowing Bruno down. And then round 5, roughly around the 2-minute mark, Mike does a move that you have to really watch it to see what's going on, but they're in the middle of the ring. And Tyson steps forward to Bruno. As he steps forward, he makes a side left angular approach. So he comes in at an angle, and so he gets onto the to the right hand side of Bruno by going to his left, and then Tyson feints a right hand and throws the left hook. That stuns Bruno, but I think not only does it stun Bruno in regards to like the power and the punch, but it stuns him technically because he now realizes that Mike's got some cute moves that he's not quick enough for, because Mike was quicker than Bruno. Like Bruno's okay, he's got good speed, but he's a big guy. He hasn't got the foot speed or the hand speed to sort of like to match Mike in close quarters, and doesn't jab as vicious enough on the outside to keep Mike at bay neither. So that move stuns Bruno, and then 1 minute left going into the round, Mike Tyson throws a wicked left hook to Bruno's lower abs. It stiffens Bruno and makes him static on the ropes. Tyson then throws his trademark left hook to the body, a left uppercut to the head. Now, that punch he throws is known as the bowler punch, and he throws those two punches like it's one punch, and that just opens Bruno up. A couple more lefts and rights after that, and the ref, Richard Steele, steps in, stops the fight on the spot. So Mike Tyson, 5th round knockout over Bruno. Significant thing here is that Bruno's other defeats was to Witherspoon and Bonecrusher Smith. So with James Bonecrusher Smith, stopped him in the 10th round. Witherspoon, 11th round. But when he fights Mike, because Mike is a lot more dynamic, faster hands, faster feet, whatever, he goes out early. Post-fight press conference, Mike Tyson tells Larry Merchant, Bruno was tough, he threw some good punches, but he says, how dare they challenge me with their somewhat primitive skills? And, if you know anything about the Marvel comics, Mike Tyson was quoting Apocalypse, the X-Men villain. So Mike Tyson quoting comics in his post-fight comment. And Bruno, in defeat, just says, hey, I gave my best, he's better than me, but that's cricket. And Bruno always made these kind of funny comments. So that's the fight. After that fight, Bruno challenges for the title again against Lennox Lewis, unsuccessful. Then luckily he gets another title fight against Oliver McCall, and he wins the belt. And that's when Mike's in prison. So Bruno and Tyson meet again for a rematch, but this time Bruno's the champion, March 16th. But we'll cover that another day. This is MSLB, Mark Stolino's Boxing. Tell a friend we're here covering the sweet sport, the sweet science. All right, have a good day. Take care.